The water, these are my freshwater tanks. One under the settee and a smaller one under here. So this is all tore out, so I have the best access possible to the water tanks, to the water pump, and all the hosing lines and everything that initiate it. This is the new toy. Basically, my water tastes terrible. I am really hoping that it is just a matter of the tanks being, I mean, the tanks are original to both, so they're 40 years old. And this plastic probably leaching stuff like crazy. At least that's what I'm hoping. So what I've done is I've filled the tanks all the way, and then I added bleach. Actually, I filled them halfway, added bleach, filled them the rest of the way, but whatever. And I let it sit for a little while, and then I've been pumping them dry through the water system. So the bleach water is actually running through the whole water system, both in the galley and in the head. And you can see this faucet will fill the sink faster than the sink will drain, so I can only run it for so long, and then I have to stop and wait for the sink to catch up. Once I've done that, I'm going to fill them back up with water and then run the water for a while again until the water coming out no longer has any real sense that there's bleach in it. So I got to flush, now that I've used the bleach to clean the tanks, I need to flush it, out so I'm not drinking it and using it to wash my hands and that sort of thing. Then, once that's done, I'm going to be installing this monstrosity in line. And this is really great. You can buy special water filters designed for boats, and they're pretty expensive. This is designed for like restaurants, and I mean really this one is marketed as a whole house filter for your home, but honestly these are really made for restaurants, and then they also sell them to homeowners when they can get away with it. The nice thing about these is the cartridges, the replaceable cartridges, and I'll need the tool. Oh no, I didn't tighten it up that much. These replaceable cartridges are an industry standard size, so I can get new ones of these pretty much anywhere. There's lots of competition, so they're not that expensive. This is a sediment one, so it'll capture little bits of dirt and stuff that happen to get in that tank. This is a carbon block filter, so this should take out most, if not all, of the bad tastes and smells and whatever else happen to get in the water. So with the two-stage filter, the water comes in, it goes through this filters out any kind of sediment or dirt or whatever, and then it comes over into here. This filters out any bad tastes, smells, anything that's not water in theory, and then this hose will go into where it needs to go. So the process, I'm almost done with the initial cleaning of the tanks, and then I'm going to then I have to go through the flushing. And then once I've flushed it, I will have this sitting here. I will hook it into the system and I will run water through it to make sure that all these fittings are not leaking. Once I know that that's safe, I'll disconnect it, and then it's going to be mounted back in here so it's out of the way, and yet it's close enough that the hose can run up and then run back down. No big deal. And it'll be really easy to change the filters when it's both the C and to change the filters once they get clogged. And then hopefully that will solve, I'll just have much better quality water. And that, when adding a chlorine tablet to the water every now and then to keep stuff from growing in it, I'm hoping will keep my water very usable. It's not bad. It doesn't really taste bad at all anymore. It doesn't taste like bleach either. So here's a little trick that probably most of you know, and I knew it for a long time, but I never really seriously considered it made a lot of difference. It's dish soap. Anytime you're putting like these hoses that fit very tightly on the fittings, but also where the fittings connect together, the soap is very good lubricant, and if you get the stuff not toxic and all that sort of thing, the difference between putting this stuff together without any dish soap on it first and with dish soap is a factor of about 1,000 times difficulty. I mean, this is going to be relatively easy to put together, whereas this is a tight fit because there's an O-ring. If I didn't pre-lube it with the dish soap, it would be a nightmare, especially in this compartment where there's not a lot of room to get a good angle for good force on it. So if you know that trick and you haven't been using it, or you don't know the trick at all, just seriously, just do it. You save yourself so much headache. This is not permanent. This is just to run the water through, make sure that you know, these fittings are I have so much trouble with this doggone tape, to make sure these fittings are leak-free before I mount it. It'll be permanently mounted back in here. The hoses will come up through here and back down in. But for now, this means I can test everything and make sure. So here we go. Here's the water in one side. Here goes the water into the carbon filter. And there is the carbon dust coming through the line. That was funny. They do warn you that that's going to happen when you first run them through. So they still have big flow. Ooh, yuck! It came out here first. Look at that. It's all carbon dust. It's not really going to hurt anything, but you got to flush it to get it clean. They tell you to, yeah, I got a lot of carbon dust down here too. They tell you to run, I don't know how many gallons through or whatever, to flush it clean. So after a little bit of pressure testing, these fittings are leaking here. Not enough PTFE tape, I guess. You're probably just as surprised as I am. It's reassembled. I got my paper towel detectors installed. No leaks on this side so far. Nothing on this side. Stuff like this drives me nuts. So you got, you know, this wire that all it's doing is adding resistance and wasting power, and then these not so good connections. And I mean, why are there two? You know, why is this little jumper wire here? What? But my problem is that all my electrical stuff is stored. After about 15 minutes or so, I don't have any leaks. So I'm now ready to move this to its new home. This boat is 40 years old. It's been modified. I mean, I don't even know what's original anymore. I start working on stuff and I'm like, oh, what is that? You know, did Tartan do that, or did one of the previous ones? I've drilled so many holes. I feel like I'd have been better off. Like if I took all the core that I drilled out, all the fiberglass that I drilled out, I would have a bigger boat than what I'm left with here. It's just, I know that's ridiculous, but it's just like, I can't believe I'm still drilling holes in this boat. So often the case, I have this giant thing full of all different size screws, and I did not have the one size that I needed to mount this. Oh, that was fun. To mount this, so I had to stop, run to the store, but there it is mounted. So I just got to get the lines running, connected. I'm delightfully close to finishing this project. Alright, after slightly less than the usual amount of shenanigans, I am hopefully done, ready to do the final leak test. This is my pump. Water comes in from the tanks here. Pump pumps it out. Comes into this compartment here. Goes into the far end. Through the sediment filter, through the carbon block filter, back down, back into here, into this T that goes out and distributes to the rest of the water system. Pressurized for 10-15 minutes now, and I can't find any leaks. So I guess I can clean up. Consider this another project done.